Good morning, everyone, and welcome. I know we're getting started a little bit late, and I do see Curtis Hill. What's up, buddy? 7:02. I know, I started a little bit late. Things got updated right here on my end, and it is driving me crazy because I'm not sure how things got so messed up. So seems like it is kind of like becoming a theme. Let me check out something really quickly. Let me see if you guys are receiving. Let's see my sound effects. Let's see. Oh, you're not. You're not. I see that. All right. So let me see if I can change that after the show. Well, we'll have to reconfigure that. Not sound effects, not songs. Everything is just broken, man. I don't know what's going on. Wavelength, come on. You need to make. You need to let me know with an anticipation if you're gonna be making those stuff, brother. All right, let's get started here. Hey, Mr. Hard, Mr. JR, what's up, guys? Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for taking a little bit of your time to spending here with me. Oh, thought I was late. No, you're early. I'm the one early. I'm the one early. Take time to squeeze. Yeah, absolutely. Oranges take time to squeeze. Absolutely. By the way, what was the brand of it? Cuisinart. Cuisinart squeezer. It exploded. All right, it exploded. The circle base, that thing exploded under pressure. So not sure. Today I was drinking some juice just for the grace of God and the grace of my wife. But other than that, oh man, it does take some sweat and tears to squeeze those oranges and also squeeze those carrots. All right, so let's go and take a look at the charts. We are right now at the bottom with a possible reversal right there on Bitcoin 4-hour time frame. Is it time to maybe take a leap of faith? Let's take a look at how am I going to be playing those out, and also if we have enough momentum to keep pushing upward. Let's get it. Let's go to the charts. All right, and oh man, I'm telling you today things don't want to work out with me. Let's see, where do we have it? Bitcoin, there it is. All right, good thing that it was a fast thing to solve right there. And we have right here Bitcoin. Remember, we're still looking for that sweep of the lows at 114, 115. In fact, we see the dynamic reactor coming in hot in here. Let's just move slightly our alert to the upside, and that is to compensate for maybe not quite hitting that dynamic reactor just like in here. We want to compensate for that momentum reach out. And well, then what we got so far, let me mute this thing 1 second because it is just ringing in my ear. All right, perfect. We also have Mr. JR, Mr. Hard, Mrs. Caliphant. What's up, guys? Welcome. Thanks so much for spending just a little bit of your time with me. I really appreciate it. Let me send you some hearts for you guys. And let's continue. So there is something important in here. All right, we do have, there we go, we are bottoming down on our oscillator, right? So let's also take a look at our linear regression oscillator, my favorite free oscillator. But this is, guys, this is very revealing, right? This is what I get excited. Look at that, we have two different tools, and those different tools are telling us kind of like a different story. All right, at the end of it all, they're measuring different stuff, and that is why it's important to have different measuring tools, right? So we can look at some momentum, we can look at some trend reaction, right? We can take a look at money flow, so on and so forth, right? So what is my oscillator, my prime oscillator telling me? Hey, we're almost bottoming down in here, all right? Let's take a look at my prime oscillator pro. It also is telling me, hey, we can still go lower, all right? So we can still go lower in here, but we do have a possible reversal. What would I be looking for? That maybe one more movement like that. So this is telling me to maybe wait. But if you were not used to this oscillator, you might be saying, hey, this could turn around. Yes, and it absolutely could. In fact, I am counting for that to flip around. But could be some flipping like this. Look at that, how we went up, slightly touched, and then we have our sweep of the lows before taking off. All right, so far so good. Let me just get rid of these two. or just that one. And right here, look at that. This is one of my favorite oscillators. We have a double valley. What is it implying? Let's take a look at another, or let's check out. Let's take a check on a double valley scenario. This is one, but there it is. All right, perfect. This is it. We have one valley here, right? And then we start going back again to the downside. And what happened right there? We have one last dip. And if we can take a look at like this, all right? This was the bottom of that dip. Start moving to the upside. There we go. We had another peak performance. And off we go. Let's just ignore this part for a second, all right? Why are we ignoring that part? It is because it is out of reach, it is out of the pattern. Let's just analyze what happened here. We had, as we went up and back down, we went up and back down, all right? A double bottom in this case. We could have a further move to the downside. So what is it telling me, or what is it implying? It's implying a further move to the downside. Let me see if I can find another double bottom in here, or a double, not bottom, but double, there we go, double curvature right here. Perfect. We have one, and again at this point we have a support area right there. So far so good, doing fantastic. 1 second here. Perfect. All right, so that is what we got. Let me go. I'm sorry, I got a little distracted. It's just I'm also chatting with the chart hackers right there. All right, so what we got in here, it is let's go at the end of this, a possible continuation short, all right? So if we have a double bottom scenario, what is our bottom? Somewhere around here, all right? So, are we gonna get that? Look at that. Now, this is when I start moving my alerts to a little bit above here, so somewhere around here. That way, if I get somewhere around there, I could be looking at my oscillator, maybe looking for a peak performance diamond in here, all right? And that is because, look at that, almost got to that area, right? Peak performance area, almost right there. If we are able to peak performance in here, I think we're gonna get a very nice reversal. So another thing that is important, and let me configure my prime oscillator. Let's go click it, money mode. All right, so where's my money mode? Come on, money mode. And it's, for some reason, I am just blind and I cannot see it. Are you kidding me? Just blind? Test. Can you guys still hear me? No. All right, so I think all right, so perfect. Let's just take a look at so for some reason I don't see money mode, but still it is just a money flow. By the way, let's take that advantage. And by the way, so far it is very odd. Some things that are happening with TradingView. Just so you know, in the background, in chart hackers, in the discords that we are present, I'm starting to see a little bit of a pattern where a couple of things are changing, all right? And that is nothing that we have done in our labs, all right? So just be aware, if you have something like an error or something is missing, try just to refresh your page and see how that goes. If for some reason something is not playing out, let us know. We'll give you a solution. We'll assist you in there. All right. So, but so far, I just don't see my money mode. Well, whatever. The point is that let's concentrate on money flowing here, right? What is my money flow? It is this area right there. So another little trick, if you don't want to use this one, you can go into, there we go, your MVP oscillator here. Oh, my bad. You need to go to your, let me get it here, Prime Oscillator Pro. All right, and you're in your Prime Oscillator Pro. You go to settings, you change it for your Trend Fusion. This is the one, right? And let's take a look at it here. Let's click OK, and you'll have two different readouts of your money flow. You have your traditional money flow, the one that is in the Pro Plus, all right? And then you also have our inversion of money flow. So what happens when, for example, someone or one of us is flat and the other one is going downwards? Well, ours, it's tend to be more reactive, all right? But when you have some disparity, this talks about ranging. And are we ranging? Yes. So could we maybe range downwards? Yes, that is what I'm expecting. Why? Because look at this money flow going down and this one going flat. As long as we don't have both money flows coming down, I don't expect bigger movements like in here, all right? So far, so good. Money flow looking not that bad, but still in the red. All right, we can still, I do expect us to be arranging for a little bit. That adds to the maybe going back to visit some areas right here at 115. Let's take a look at, we have some support and resistances over those areas, because I think that's going to be decisive whether if we are going to be ready for jumping to a trade or not. All right, so let's get started here. Let's take a look at our SMA combo. Our SMA combo has a lot of spacing here. Usually that means that we're getting ready to flat out. For example, let me just turn on off. Let's see, 3 dots in here, then hide. Perfect. And well, I will need to also turn off my linear regression. There we go. So look at what happens when we have a lot of distance between those two. All right. So when was the last time that it happened? It happened right here. What happened afterwards? Well, then, yes, it's true that we kept going for a little while. We're going to be acknowledging that. All right. So it is true that we kept going for a little while. But at the end of it all, we did a fast moving crossover, this other one in here, leading us, and this is where we should be turning on our indicators. There we go, to a little range and then a breakout continuation. So right here, let me turn this back on. Are we ranging? Yes, we have our range early. So that means, or that usually means that, all right, that we are about, or most likely we could be pushing to the upside. All right, so that's a little secret. Shh, don't tell anyone how our SMA scenario in this case is giving us a little bit more information from on our charts right there. Right, so this is something that I'm expecting here. Let's go for it once again. And what is the definition from that pump or that laid out? There we go. As we cross over into our opportunity zone. Are we right there? Nah, not really, but so far, so much like we could be going something like that and then crossing over something like this, bouncing and making another high and then reversal. Once again, looking at some highs somewhere around that area. So look at how we have this pattern. This is a triangle that we've been talking about, right, for a little bit time here. And let's not ignore the fact that we were experimenting with head and shoulders, flagging out. So it is performing as expected. One of the things that I was looking into was this little hump, bigger hump, triangular pattern, right? Then breakout, retest, off we go. That may retest might happen here, or even we could be having a sweep of the lows, grab some liquidity, and off we go to our dynamic reactor. Has that happened in the past? Absolutely. Let's take a look at a couple of examples in here, right? There we go. We have our first hump, secondary hump. We have our triangle in here, right? What happens? Sweep of the lows, breakout, retest, off we go. So far, looking fantastic. I am pretty bullish, to be honest, all right, in Bitcoin, but I'm not going to be trading on feelings. Not because I feel bullish. I'm going to be just pushing it into what I want that outcome to be. I need to be patient. How patient? Looking for confirmation. What confirmation? Look at how right here we have the same pattern. Our first secondary hump, a little bit of a range that could have defined our triangle, right? And we have a big gap from our SMA combo. All right. So when did I went in? I went in, or where are we supposed to go in? At the strip of the lows. All right, let's bring up our oscillators in here. For some reason, they're also offset. Come on, TradingView. You are pissing me off, man. All right, and there we go. As we have some flip of the ribbon, peak seekers, some support areas, and off we go, crossing over. All right, move your stop to entry. Takes you back once again, hidden bullish divergence, oversold, reversal, and what we got in here, there we go, our next possible entry. The same thing I'm going to be expecting in the upcoming breakout. If we have a breakout, most likely we are. I believe that we're going to be having something like this and then a big dramatic flop. All right, let's remember this. I'm going to bring that up tomorrow, but nevertheless, keep that in mind. All right, so once again, where do we enter? We already have our triangle. We need to wait for, let's bring up our, there we go, our support and resistances, and support and resistances. Here we go. All right, in our oscillator. Where are my support and resistances? Look at that. We have a liquidity zone. We have a support line right here, all right? And our dynamic reactor coming in half. So do I have anything else? Like, for example, predictive ranges? Not quite there, a little bit lower in here. So that might be a little bit of a bummer, especially since both of my predictive ranges are showing me an area right here. What could I do? Remember, the more the risk that we have, the more that we should be cutting that risk in half, right? Or in thirds, in fourth. You know what I'm going, all right? So let's go for that long position. We're going to be looking for a possible entry here. And in this case, I am going to be trying to get out of this wicking action as soon as I can. So my stop loss is going to be, oh man, this is getting difficult to locate because we also have some smart money entry here. So you know what, let's go all the way down here, a little bit of a wiggle room, somewhere around here. I know this looks like a crazy setup, still looking for that high, and I'm gonna be dividing two entries. One entry somewhere around here, and my secondary entry, it's gonna be going, where is it, where are you, right there. And if I can find it, there we go, somewhere around those two areas. All right, what am I going to be looking for? And let's point that out. Half of an entry and half of an entry. In case we flip back down, this is going to be my first entry. If I continue to the upside, when I start breaking their inner range, which is right here, right? If I start breaking that, breakout retest, so breakout, taking profits, retest and continuation, re-adding those profits, all right? And then to the moon, well, not to the moon, right here to 127-ish, right? Because that's where I have my next setup of predictive ranges. And then all the way to 134, and finally somewhere around 144. So those are my targets. All right, what if I'm wrong? All right, this is important, guys. Remember that we need to be humble in the market, right? I feel that I have a very solid setup in here, but what if, I don't know, who gives? Somebody sells, right? Somebody important sells in here. Somebody's trying to rug pull us out of Bitcoin, right? They want to take your Bitcoin, and well, then they start a chain reaction, a snowball effect. What if I'm wrong? That's why I'm going half of an entry and then going half of an entry. How far could I be pushing that movement to the downside? I think right now, and let me see if I can get it here. Give me 1 second. Let's go for the crypto fear and greed index, right? There was one that we really liked, but I don't quite remember where is it. Let's go for this, both of those. So this one here, all right, and this one right there. So right here from CoinMarketCap, we are somewhere around 67, and this one in here from Binance, we're also 67. we are on grid. All right. So I don't think that this is really going to push the right as I mean, what do we need? We need extreme grid in here for a kind of like a out loud, or I don't know, almost a propheticize short, right? But we don't quite get it. So a small pullback might be the way. In case I'm wrong, once again, in case I'm wrong, I'm aiming for my next area of big support. Predictive range in here 1, predictive range in here 2, going through smart money areas of entry. I guarantee you that we have a fair value gap in here. And what else? Well, a little bit lower here between this order block. That will be my failure point, right? Because, I mean, come on, let's not do that, all right? Let's just keep it as is. And then if I just get out of that area, I re-enter. I see JR saying, OC, what's up, bro? OC like his entire... What? What are we talking about here? OC likes his entries like he likes his cream. Half and half. All right, I'm not sure if you are, I don't know, like, all right, when you do double cents in Mexico, we call it albur. I don't know if you are alburing me. Dude, at least let me know. At least let me know. Don't leave me in the ignorance of trying to understand if you are teasing me or not. All right. Toads. All right, I think that answers that. Half OJ. Oh, absolutely, Weeks 5. Hey, Weeks 5, how is it going? Yes, half OJ, half coffee. So, think that I could be wrong. I'm going to be aiming for as far right down here, which brings me back like, all right, we're pretty bullish, all right? We can see that we're pretty bullish. We are grade 67. Something that I haven't used recently, and I think this could be a good opportunity to do so. And for that, let me just get rid of everything. Well, just hide everything, right? For the most part, it's going to be my, what is it? Liquidations setup. Let's see how liquidations are looking. So we have a big gap, all right? What is easier to get to? I would say this bearish area right here, which falls in line once again to our secondary entry, isn't it? At where dynamic reactor is going to be. Let me see if that is our secondary entry. Oh, a little bit below here, more in line with our first entry. Perfect. That is good enough. All right. But now it's time to just get rid of this and say, all right, we are pretty bullish. 67. All right. When we are that bullish, we are not extremely greedy, so the market might not have that unbalanced, all right? That's why we usually see those shorts happening when we are in extreme greed. And those shorts get diluted if we create a range at a extreme greed. We just have a greed. What if they're trying to manipulate the market when we're in greed? We're bullish, all right? So I would say that we were pretty greedy here, nothing that serious, but for the first retracement, that was a 4.84%. Remember, I'm not talking really about the percentage. I'm just referring to. Why? Because if I move this to the upside, look at how that percentage changes. Ricardo, I love how pudgy penguins cross the between the what physical and digital world, but it's most commonly used to describe retail multi-market. What? Not really following. All right, let's go into what I was saying. All right, so by size, how much can they maybe manipulate the market? Look at that. Fairly, let's just go for this big one, right? Fairly the same zone. Let's average it down. I think this will be a fair comparison. Look at that, fair comparison, right? So I think that would be BT, what's up? Thank you for teaching fundaments. My pleasure. For the people, for people's people. OC, my pleasure, my friend. Love you, dude. I love you too, brother. Nice. All right. So I think this would be, like how they might be able to manipulate the market. They just wear ahead tinfoil hat and guess who? All right. Market makers, if you're just were in doubt. Like how much they can push the market, right? To start creating or to pretend to create a snowball effect. All right. So I think we have a fair measurement here. Again, the percentage will vary as we go high because we need more market cap to get higher. All right, that's why the percentage will lower itself. Remember, the same rock, it is a different percentage of water, right? Based if you're in a small puddle of water, you have this rock that might I don't know, representing 25% of the whole body of water. But if you throw it into the river, right, or into a lake, well, then a small rock like this into the lake, how much of a percentage is it from that body of water? The same happens in here, all right? So the same amount of money that is moving this much of Bitcoin, it changes in percentage. So let's go in here. We're not that far away. And look at that. It's almost perfect. It's almost perfect. Right? So I think we are nailing this down with averaging down, like those measurements of dropping back down. So from where we are right here, I would say that they could absolutely go and demolish a 110. What's going to happen? It's going to take me out. So should I be pushing it? Probably. Yes. But I just don't feel comfortable doing so. So there is a workaround. Where is your support? Well, I do see a support right down there. Coincidence? I don't know, right? It's actually making me doubt a little bit of my first initial analysis. And I'm doing this live with you guys because I'm planning to take this trade as always, all right? And this is just part of the process to debugging whether you should or should not be taking or splitting or where you should be splitting your entries, all right? So far, it's looking like a strong area, but also right there, look at that, we have a double. Look at it. Let's go for it, right? What it cannot hurt. The only thing that I'm gonna be doing here is gonna be going farther down, give myself that wiggle room, and of course pushing this entry lower. Where or how low? Let's not guess that. All right. Let's actually measure where we should be looking into that zone. I think removing this might make much more sense or easier into, there we go. So where exactly I'm going to be pushing this? Well, where's my support? It's a little bit lower, but I think I saw another support in here. Perfect. At the support line right there. What else do I have somewhere around here? Maybe I can aim just a little bit. Oh, don't move that. Just a little bit lower here in between the two supports. All right. What else do I have there? Remember my VRVP or VPVR into a ranging zone. Perfect. Also, this would be a good opportunity, but it's in the same ballpark between those two. So I think I'll be better off like that. All right. So something important is that less than 1. Since I'm dividing this in 2, that's still okay. So how much leverage should I be needing for this? Remember how to calculate your leverage. You measure this once. Let's clone this, all right? And then as long as I open up my order at 115 and I can have my liquidation, it's at 102, whatever that leverage is, I'm going to be using it and still setting my stop loss in here. I'm not trying to risk. I'm trying to cut the risk out. All right. Absolutely, JR. Thank you for that, my friend. Love it. Love it. All right. So far, so good. I think we have a plan. Man, I really want this to actually go in, but let's not. Once again, I'm fighting with the feelings. All right. But let's just go for whatever makes most sense for the safest trading scenario. So far, so good. We have our first possible entry somewhere around 115,800, and the next one right here at 110, 200-ish. All right, so we got that. We still have 20 more minutes. Let me go over a couple of, there we go, setups in here. because Jupiter, guys, Jupiter, it played out fan-freaking-tastic. All right? We had a couple of alerts on Jupiter. Jupiter crossing, Jupiter, this is the first one, Jupiter crossing trend line. What is our trend line? Well, we had a trend line in here. So what's going on in there? There we go, crossing the first trend line. There we go, coming back down for some support, right? That support played out fantastically. Also, another thing that played out in here, let me just get rid of that. Let me just get rid of almost everything here. Oh, come on. Let's just memorize that. Look at that. We were looking into this range. Top, coming for a retest, did not happen, went all the way down. And I need to change in here. So remember, Jupiter, 4 hours. Let's go into, yeah, I'll put it anyway. Anyways, there we go. And we need to go back to Jupiter. Right, there we go. Jupiter in this area. Remember that we talked about, and where is it? Here it is. Right, our setup. All right, and then a change. This is the 30 minutes. Let's go to 4 hours. That's what happens. All right, there was same area looking for that sweep of the lows. Remember that? And then boom, there we go. So let's go back to this area right here. Let's go back to Jupiter, and finally it's playing out very nicely. There we go. So when breakout, and if you even didn't need to trade here, breakout, retest, 2-candle retest, how that all looks as your oscillator. There we go, flip of the ribbon, breaking through your zero line in here, and then off we go. So far, so good on Jupiter. It's time to take some profits. Let's go and take a look at a couple of other things. We talked about Bunk, all right? Let's go and check out Bunk. Bunk played out very nicely. We're flagging out, and remember, we are looking into these areas for targets. If you did not jump in, that's fine. Don't worry. Let's do an analysis once again. We are flagging out. Important. All right? And guys, we need to take this into consideration. Things might be changing right now especially into meme coins, all right? Dilution in meme coins is something important. Hey, Amy Piper, what's up, bro? Welcome, BC Port Corp in the house. What's up, guys? Welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Really appreciate it. All right, so let's take a look at what's going on in here. And for that, I'm going to reverse my scale in here. And for some reason, I need my linear regression. Perfect. I am bearish. We have a coming down. I don't really identify a range, but let's go, and why not? It's not going to hurt giving a little guess. But what I see most of the wicking action, let me just make this smaller. There we go. It is right here. All right. So let's consider that as a little range. So coming back down, V-shaped recovery, high, not higher than previous range. This gives me inner structure and 70% chances of ranging. How do I measure that? I look for where my wicks are telling me to measure that bottom. It could be either right here, or it could be right there. But because I already have another wick in here that happens to already be playing out, this is gonna be my ranging zone. Remember, this is inverted. So let's invert it back in here, and this is where we're gonna be trying to, what is it? Buy low. Oh, come on. Buy low, sell high. All right? Buy low, sell high. Buy low, and say high. Rinse and repeat. Remember that something important about this range trade is our ranging strategy. You want to know a little bit more? Remember, we still have those courses up and running. Looking for the range trading course chapter, because they will be going offline at any time. So go watch them, all right? Hey, KTGT, what's up, bro? Welcome, welcome. Mucho gusto, my friend. Thank you, thank you. All right, so what are we looking in here? We have a breakout. Look at our money flow, steady, all right? Let's bring up our regression trend oscillator. Are we gonna cross over? Seems like it, but we don't have just quite yet our diamond reversal. Remember, we're looking for that reversal diamond, right? That might get us one more hump in there. Let me see if I can find an example of that. And, oh, come on, don't do this to me. I know you're out there. Well, I can't really find it, but let's go for something like like this. All right. So far we're going to be looking into a possible bullish scenario, then coming back down, and then a possible breakout. So this bullishness, well, if we're not at the top, this could be our next opportunity to sell. All right. And then as we come back down, our opportunity to buy and hedge this. All right. So the point is you hedge the range, so you have both a short at the top and a long at the bottom. And then you just take 50 out, 50 out, 50 out, right? And whenever you take some profits, you re-add them as they go. Then you re-add them as they go. So when the time comes and this blows up, you are gonna be into a trading there. So hedging, and right now calculating that before the second bounce, it's very, very, very important. Let's add our alerts right here, and also another one right there. Remember, go for those weeks and then just pull them in a little bit. So that's gonna be our possible entries for bunk. Be careful, bunk might play it out very, very fast. All right. All right, let's go for another one that I am interested, XRP. Virtuals, I also want to take a look at virtuals. XRP, oh, something important that I can take out this example here. Look at how we had that flag, that bullish pennant, not a flag, a pennant, but at the same time, we did like a U form, right? And what happens in here, we break the structure. I'm talking about smart money concepts, right? And not just traditional concepts. If you are confused about it, go check it out on our courses. We got you covered there. And it's free. What beats more anything that is free? So I don't think anything. Just give it a try. Let's see if you like them. And well, then you can take some notes on that, all right? We're talking about smart money concepts. BOS stands for break off structure. And once again, I need to make this clear, in smart money concept environment. That is a continuation of movement, all right? So break of structure, breakout, retest, off we go. You're long here, you get stopped out, you're re-long in here, and then off you go, all right? So in a nutshell. So what's going on in here? A little bit of the same, all right? Going up, and we might be having a double berry scenario. We would be looking for a diamond here, or for our reversal other diamond here. Sorry, peak performance diamond or reversal diamond, whichever happens. And look at that, we're almost there to take on one of our targets. All right, so far so good. Let's go back to bunk, because bunk, it's in the way of doing something similar. Let me first show you, there we go, that we could be having either a big pennant, all right, a big pennant, a bull flag breakout, which at this point we would need a retest and off we go, all right, or that U form that we are expecting, or that we have seen on the previous setup, all right. So what am I showing you this? If for some reason you look at when and the thing just moves, all right, so you know that you have a secondary entry. Much more difficult. Why? Because it involves more risk. The higher you go, the more the risk you get. All right, so we have 78 viewers. Thank you very much, guys. And just a quick reminder, click that like button. It really, really helps with the algorithm. And if you feel like you like this, comment. If you feel like this helps you out, comment. And if you feel this is a waste of time, hey, little tip, send it to your enemy. Maybe you can waste his time too. Just kidding. All right, let's take a look at what else we got in there. Let's go to virtuals. Virtuals, we had, there we go. We have a possible entry. In fact, that entry, that is actually got us very, very nice. Let's just say, look at that. Oof. All right, got us. That's fine. It ended up going the way that we were expecting. All right, so next time we need to recalculate our stop loss, all right? And in that case, we would have a very fantastic, phenomenal entry. Nonetheless, that was not the case. Take out what we're looking for, our next possible entry right there, but it was already too late. I'm not gonna be chasing after this. Still, this played out fantastic. Following the same pattern, first hump, secondary hump, range in here. And by the way, we did this on the 30 minutes, so let's go into the 30 minutes. Here we go. We have a much better description of what happened here. And then going back down, liquidity sweep. It got us for a little bit in here, right? They knew. And then off we go. Possible entries in this scenario. Breakout, retest your entry, peak performance, confirmation, maybe confirmation week, late entry, accurate entry. All right, so let's go. All right, let me get rid of this. This is something that I needed to get out of the way just in case you were hit on that trade. We need to acknowledge it. Still played out as we were expecting, but it just got us right there on the stop loss. All right, Polygon. All right, this is a headache. All right, it's been moving. Yes, it's been actually kind of like a little bit out of phase of what we were expecting, but still moving in the same ballpark. All right, so what is going on here? We were analyzing for this range. What we were expecting a possible short in here. What happened? The short played out slightly above. All right, if we broke out, what happens when we have a breakout? It's not about your breakout, it's about your retest, and then they got you. Double bottom. All right, and then off we go. So it's been a little bit of a pain, Polygon. Still, let's go to the 4 hours. I think we're gonna have a much better definition of what's happening here. And we have, of course, right here, an up-ranging scenario. All right. All right. Right here, we have two things playing out. Possible pennant. All right. Or short. Which one is it going to be? So far, none. How is our strength? Our strength, oh, the other one, this one in here, our strength, it is above the zero line right there, all right? But quite a bit rounding out, all right? So we might be losing that strength. Also, seems like we are turning around. Most likely a possible short. How could we be maybe playing this out? Once again, 30 minutes. Having this scenario, let's clear this up. And what we find, where are we finding? Hump, secondary hump. What are we looking for? We still need a little bit more information to see how far would this go to create a what? A triangle, all right, for a continuation. But so far, we know we could be having a triangle. Where are we heading to? We already have our peak performance. We could be looking for that diamond, all right? Important, most likely that diamond is gonna play it out somewhere around here to try to confuse you, all right? And then have a very small pull out. Look at where that diamond played out in here, all right? Then went up and then reversal. Since we're getting a decreasing, most likely we're gonna get a decreasing high, well then do expect to be lower in here. Let's keep a track. And the way to keep a track in this, it's to create actual trend lines. How do I start guessing how high could this go? Well, first I look at different scenarios, but most likely I look at my support and resistances, all right? So if I have something around here, where could it be? Well, I could be going somewhere between these two support and resistances. Let's go at the middle just for now, all right? And then the next one is going to be between this one, this one, this one, and this one. We already pretty much have it, all right? This is the one that we're speculating because it could even go a little bit higher, it could be a little lower, it could be very low. I mean, we don't actually know. Nonetheless, we can start speculating based, again, on our support and resistances. So do we have a resistance? Yes. I don't think this is going to be it, but we need to look for something else, right? So where can I maybe bouncing here? Somewhere around here. So let's make it pass over that scenario somewhere around there. Right, so far, this is how I'm going to leave it. How am I going to be leaving it? It's not going to be just a definite trend line. We still need to look for for possible breakouts of that trend, all right? Especially, oh, look at that, a order block, very nice. but we could also go slightly higher to that other order block. Again, we need to wait for more information. Be aware of your oscillator, and of course, most likely, or better yet, look at your strength on whatever you are. All right, if you're having some strength on bullish, it goes high. Some strength in some bearishness, it goes low. All right, so just look for strength and then look at where are you? Are you blue? Are you green? And then that will give you the direction of it. All right, so I think that will be it for today, Monday. Tomorrow, most likely, we're going to be looking for entries and then taking those profits by Thursday, Friday, right before the weekend, and that is just to prevent a low volume. All right, guys, so as always, thank you so much for watching, and see you guys tomorrow.